Red stripe, Premier League. I miss one bag of gold medal pan me now. Red stripe alone champion boy go. Pan a pour them a singing anthem. Red stripe, watcha. Band shall I be the forward boy. Red stripe Premier League champion boy score. Every goal when I run from boy. Red stripe Premier League champion boy now. Back down we run the marathon boy. Them wish I never made it the champion boy pan. Nah man I don't a songsters boy. Red stripe Premier League champion boy. Yeah yo.
It's a rainy night at the Drewsland Stadium in Kingston for Red Stripe Football Mondays, but the fans braving the conditions and turning out here, many of them to see their home team as they continue their resurgence. It's the opening Red Stripe Football Mondays fixture for 2018. Waterhouse and Cavalier, two former champions, but without titles in many years. Cavalier, they haven't won the title in 38 years. Waterhouse, they've been more recently champions 12 years ago, but both at the moment seeking a top 6 spot to get into the playoffs.
Yes, indeed. Waterhouse has experienced a resurgence since Donovan Duki came into town, and this home crowd, crucially important to Waterhouse's progress. They can be good or bad, Lance, but because the football has been rather good in the past few weeks, they've only been good, and they're coming out tonight, rain or shine, to support this team as they continue their push up the table.
Yes, Donovan Duki, their new coach, who had been here before, sparking a resurgence in this Waterhouse setup. They've been improving in most aspects of their game since his arrival.
Yes, and one of the places they've been improving in is defense. They've not been conceding the silly goals that blighted their campaign in the earlies, and they've been scoring in recent times. Two men with 10 goals between them, Tremaine Stewart with 4 and Kamara Beckford with 6. They have to continue scoring for Waterhouse to keep that momentum going, because if the streak remains alive, Lance, they will be sitting pretty in the top 6 positions and don't have to worry about being in the playoff shake-up when the season comes to an end.
That's right. They're number 7 in the league at the moment, and Cavalier are number 4. They won the last time they visited here in October and would want to repeat that now.
They found the formula, Cavalier. What that formula is the key to good, consistent performances, which have seen them win more matches than they have won in their previous appearances in the league. They need to keep that streak going. They have the talent to do so. The youngsters will be depended on once again. Can Cavalier deliver is the big question.
Well, this is the last match of the 20th round of matches in Red Stripe Premier League football for 2017-2018. As usual, a recap now of the Sunday results. The most eye-catching one, George, for sure. 6 goals at the Prison Oval, 5 of them for the leaders Portmore.
Yes, but let's leave that for last, lads, because Boys Town and Humberland drew 1-1, Reno and UWI 0-0, as did Sandals, South Coast and Montego Bay United, and then Tivoli continued their revival with a 2-0 win over Harbourview. But 5-1 for Portmore United over Arnett Gardens. No crystal ball would have showed you that result, Lance. That was a spanking of mean proportions. Arnett maybe even now at this moment wondering what hit them at the Prison Oval on Sunday.
That's right. So Portmore, with that victory, that huge victory over Arnett Gardens, now 7 points in front of the league table. They were regular season champions 2 seasons ago and are setting themselves up more than halfway now into the season for a similar regular season success. Arnett Gardens, 19 games undefeated before yesterday's bad result for them, and even if you would have thought that maybe Portmore could have beaten them because of Portmore's impressive form, no one expected a 5-1 result.
Not at all. When something dies, Lance, it rots before, well, there's a process before rotting and smelling. And Arnett Gardens have had several draws in recent times, suggesting that the machine wasn't as fluent as it had been earlier in the season. A defeat was on the cards, but not a 5-1 stomping, Lance. Not in the manner that Portmore did and eviscerated them at the Spanish Town Prison Oval.
That's for sure. Portmore, to their credit, are now on a 13-game undefeated record and setting themselves. They were 6 games on a winning streak before Reno held them 0-0 a couple of weeks ago, but Portmore really on fire at the moment.
October 30, Lance, was the last time Waterhouse and Cavalier met. Ironically, it was Red Stripe Football Monday here at the Drewsland Mini Stadium. The Cavalier, young team, young whippersnappers, they left with a win. Let's look back.
The Drewsland Stadium in Waterhouse, the venue for Red Stripe Football Mondays tonight. Waterhouse, the home team, up against Cavalier. So, the final score, Cavalier winning by 2-0 over Waterhouse. Laston Reed and Nicholas Hamilton getting the goals for Cavalier. Hamilton with his 2nd strike of the season. And here is how Marshall dribbled inside the box here. Nifty skills there getting by the Waterhouse defenders. And Laston Reed, left-footed, just places the ball into the near post. Marshall again showing his exciting skills there, the 19-year-old, providing Reed with his first goal of the season and first goal ever for his new club. Cavalier, Marshall again on fire, the cross to the far post, and Hamilton on target, the 21-year-old former Holy Trinity player on the end of this delightful cross from Alex Marshall, and that made it 2-0 for Cavalier.
All right, so Red Stripe Football Mondays returns October, well, not October, that was October 30 match. January 15 is when it returns. Harborview at home to high-riding Portmore United, the league leaders. Will have the action for you live next Monday, beginning at 9 p.m. Eastern Caribbean time.
And based on Portmore's current form, George, you have to think that our viewers would be excited to see them on Monday night. Portmore red hot at the moment, being finalists 2 years in a row and setting themselves up to go one better this year.
And I tell you what, Lance, I was contacted today by the man running Central FC in Trinidad and Tobago. He's keen to see Portmore in the channel of Sportsmax once again, because guess what? Portmore, recall, have been drawn in the CFU Cup, CFU Cup group as Central FC. So Brent Sancho wants to see how many guns Portmore is packing at this stage of the season.
That's right, and that starts at the end of January, CONCACAF CFU Clubs Championship. We have the kickoff coming up. Before that, coaches' interviews and more of the pregame show. Heavy downpour of rain from early afternoon or mid-afternoon here in Jamaica, and the weather is continuing here into the night. Fairly cool conditions at 24 degrees Celsius. Not much wind here, but there's really heavy rain, and the players will have to overcome difficult conditions tonight when they take the field, which will be in about 10 minutes or so from now for the kickoff. But the fans are stout in support and hoping that Waterhouse can continue their resurgence. They have looked a lot better, this team has, since Donovan Duckey took them over, and they have moved when Admiral Bailey left them from just 1 point above the drop zone to number 7. There's Tremaine Stewart, a transfer from Portmore in the summer transfer window, and he has been among the goal scorers for Waterhouse so far this season.
Yes, a player on 4 goals so far. He is, he's a transformed player. He's been playing much better for Waterhouse than I saw him play for Portmore United. Much more consistent, Tremaine Stewart. Donovan Duckey seems to be getting the best out of him.
And look at the rainy conditions here at the Jerusalem Stadium. And as we said, the fans, though, not moving. They have just equipped themselves with umbrellas to ensure that they keep themselves as dry as possible. But this rain looks as if it's going to be here to stay for tonight.
I would suggest that the rain looks to be coming down heavier on TV than it actually is in front of us here from our commentary point. The design of the field and the slant of the field is to allow some drainage to occur if there is the threat of water settling on the surface. And the ground staff here, the ground staff and members of the management team are confident that even if the rain gets heavier and is prolonged, that we'll still have a decent enough surface to facilitate some football this evening.
And Waterhouse, as we said, an improved team. Let's hear from their camp. George, you had a talk with them earlier on.
Akita, the last time we were here for RSPL Mondays, you played Cavalier and they left with all 3 points. Are you confident you can turn the tables this evening?
Yes, I'm pretty much very confident. It's different settings tonight, so we are confident that the camp is in a good mood. Everything is up so far.
Waterhouse previously had problems scoring goals. Not so, those problems seem to be going away. Cardell Benbow is in the squad. What can fans expect from him this evening?
Well, he has been working very hard since I've been training. So, and the last game he came on, he gave us an excellent game. So, it's just to add to that and grow.
Right, so Waterhouse looks to be on an upward curve now, upward mobility. You say the vibe in the camp is good. The ambition is still to make the top 6 at the end of the season?
Pretty much so, yes, pretty much so. The lads have been working very hard. They're listening, they're taking the instruction, and it's just fun. Each day we go.
Excellent. Well, Aquino, all the best to you and Waterhouse this evening as you put on a show for the fans who should come out despite the rain. You expect a full house despite the weather?
Yes, because the team has been rising, so the vibes been good. So as much as we're doing good, we expect the crowd. But for some what reason, every time we have a TV match, like the rain, but we're hoping to see the fans tonight because that is an extra push for the team.
Nicholas Hamilton, very, very speedy 21-year-old former Holy Trinity standout in Manning Cup football, one of the key attacking men for Waterhouses, for Cavaliers. They tackled the home team tonight.
Still learning his trade, Nicholas Hamilton. His finishing has improved demonstrably this season. He's a key part of this team, and he'll be the man nominally playing the lone striker role for Cavalier this evening. The supply to him, lads, will have to be good.
That's for sure. Rudolph Speed, manager of Cavalier, sets himself up for the match tonight.
Rudolph Speed, there are, well, Cavalier is exciting. The youngsters have delivered pretty much for the duration of the season so far. But tell me about Alex Marshall and the exciting schoolboy J.D. Dwight. Are they available for tonight's game?
Well, Jaden will be available. Alex will not be because Alex is an outfield player. We decided not to risk him. Jaden will start, although both players wanted to play, but we thought about it and decided Alex will not play.
Excellent. You, Cavalier, have been one of the clubs that has not done any business in the transfer window so far. Are you keeping your powder dry for later in the window, or you're going with the squad you have without making any additions?
No, definitely not. If you notice the last couple of games, we didn't even have 18 players. 10 players is out. We're looking at 5 players to bring in, all quality players, but they haven't finalized the transfer yet, so we're just waiting.
It's been a labor of love in many respects for you with this Cavalier team. No one can begrudge the way the team has been playing this season and the relative success that you've had. How have you enjoyed how the boys have applied themselves to the task at hand so far this campaign?
Well, it's a very big risk to play players that are so young, especially having 3 of them in the team at any one time, 17-year-olds. There was even a game that we had like 6 teenagers on the pitch, and again, it's another gamble, but it is very pleasing when a plan comes together.
Tell me about Waterhouse this evening. The last time you were here, you got 2 very, very good team goals to see them off. Are you confident of repeating the trick this evening?
Well, as you know, every game is different. They have a new coach, different philosophy. It probably won't be the same. I haven't been able to see Waterhouse play since that time, actually. But we have an abundance of really good players, young but good. So we're going to be trying to do the same thing, combination of passes, to see if we can undo them again, like what we did the last time. But it's not going to be easy. It's a different kettle of fish tonight.
The crowd still braving the weather conditions here. A rainy night at Druseland. Red Stripe Football Mondays. Waterhouse up against Cavalier. Cavalier number 4 in the league at the moment, and Waterhouse 6 points behind them in 7th spot. We're getting ready for the kickoff in just over 5 minutes from now here at Druseland. Back in a moment.
One bag of gold medal pan me no. Red Stripe alone champion boy go. Pan a pour them a singing and tento. Red Stripe, watch out, watch out, watch out. Man, shall I be the forward boy. Red Stripe Premier League champion boy score. Every goal win a run from boy. Red Stripe Premier League champion boy now.
The Red Stripe Premier League for champions only.
Back at the Druseland Stadium, Waterhouse at home to Cavalier here. They met each other back in October right here. Cavalier winning by 2-0 then, and they'll be looking for another good result against Waterhouse here tonight. The team's warming up behind the changing rooms a short while ago because the match inspector has made, the match commissioner Cook has decreed that the field is in a dodgy position at the moment, so the less wear and tear before kickoff, the better for the fixture. Getting ready for game time. Cavalier, a very, very impressive record on the road. In fact, winning 6 of their 9 away matches for 20 road points. Only Portmore have been better than Cavalier on the road so far this year. And Cavalier in blue and black tonight will be looking to take points from Waterhouse.
Alex Marshall not in this Cavalier lineup, Lance. It's youthful. There is a tremendous amount of speed and skill. There is little or no experience at this level in this Cavalier squad. But Rudolph Speed is banking on the quality of these youngsters to make up for what they lack in tactical nous and experience, know-how at this the highest level of football in the land.
And really great to see this young aggregation from Cavalier acquitting themselves so well, George, because as I just mentioned, their road record, they have won more points on the road than they have at home. So they're showing themselves to be pretty brave on their road assignments.
Yes, indeed. Waterhouse, on the other hand, have been rather progressive in recent weeks. They can only go well from here. Donovan Ducky has found that formula, Lance, and the home crowd have braved the weather, and they're showing the players that, look, we've come out to watch you play, you better play.
That's right. Michelle Cunningham, assistant brand manager at Red Stripe.
And the Harborview president, Donovan White.
Waterhouse president. And Siobhan Marsh leading the introductions. And there's our Canadian referee who has this fixture here tonight, Pierre-Luc Lausier. Donovan White, the Waterhouse president. Looking pretty warm in his jacket in cool and rainy conditions here at Drewsland. There's Cardell Benbow returning to Red Stripe Premier League football for the first time in 3.5 years. Oh, he is enjoying himself and the game hasn't even started yet.
Yes, indeed.
The Jamaica national anthem ahead of the kickoff. Waterhouse fans thankful at the moment that their season has been revived after a pretty poor start. A lot of that credit must go to Donovan Ducky and what he's been able to achieve with this team so far this season. The young Cavalier aggregation, several teenagers in their setup. Look at this man, the tall Jamoy Topi, Camperdown youngster, 6 feet 4 inches tall. Turned 18 years old on Saturday, and he will be in the defensive lineup for Cavalier tonight, trying to fend off an improved Waterhouse unit.
Yes, indeed. This match is set to be really, really good. It's a pity that the field has taken so much water, which will maybe detract from the overall quality of the game. But Lance, I'm telling you, two of the most exciting teams playing in the league to this point, and let's hope that they can still manage to bring some good football despite the conditions.
The Canadian referee Pierre-Luc Lausier from Quebec in Canada, Princess Brown and Jacet Carr, his assistants. FIFA referee Cardella Samuels, the fourth official as well. Great to see a Canadian with a whistle here, bringing some international flavor to the Red Stripe Premier League.
Yes, a man who has been refereeing since he was 14 years old. He's 32 now, Pierre Lausier. He's from Drummondville in Quebec, and his day job, Lance, is as a physical education teacher at a high school in Drummondville.
Yeah. He officiated in the USL 2016 playoff between Oklahoma City and Vancouver Whitecaps 2. And there's the Waterhouse lineup for their pictures. Diego Horton in goal for them. Sean Laws, big central defender. Keena Simpson, Ricardo Thomas, Nikolai Finlayson, the veteran former Reno player. Satchel, Benbow, Mark Miller, man of the match the last time we were here. Kamar Beckford, Andre Leslie, and Tremaine Stewart, a strong Waterhouse starting roster.
Yes, indeed. And the Waterhouse formation will be 4-2-3-1. Andre Leslie at the tip of the attack. Kamar Beckford, Tremaine Stewart, and Cardell Benbow to raid behind him. Mark Miller and Dasha Satchel to ensure that nothing leaks through that midfield.
So a strong Waterhouse lineup here up against a Cavaliers setup that is on a current 3-game winning streak, this Cavalier team. Victories over UWI, Mona, Mobe and Sandals in their last games. Jadine White, the teenager from St. Andrew Technical, in the goal for them tonight. Roshane Plummer, Walcott Simpson, Jamoy Topi, Smith Shaw, Siobhan Marsh, Brown, Hamilton and Spence. Strong attacking Cavalier lineup.
3-4-2-1 for Cavalier. They're going to outnumber Waterhouse in midfield based on their formation. Michael Spence at the tip of the attack. Siobhan Marsh and Nicholas Hamilton to support. And then 4 men across the Midlands. Brown, Shaw, Smith and Walcott in front of the defensive trio of Topi, Plummer and Walcott.
So, getting ready for the kickoff. And there's your referee, Pierre-Luc Lanzier. Not the first time that we'd have seen an international referee stand in a Red Stripe Premier League fixture.
You're speaking of the Englishman Graham Poll, the man who issued 3 yellow cards in one World Cup game. Despite that, an outstanding referee. And he was here at a game at the now Edward Seaga Sports Complex, formerly the Railway Overlands, featuring the former champions Tivoli Gardens.
That's right. Waterhouse, the home team, posing for their pictures. And Lozier getting ready for his debut in a Red Stripe Premier League fixture in Jamaica.
Control of the ball will be very difficult on this surface. Anticipating the bounce is going to also be tricky, especially for the goalkeepers. Let's see who can get a handle on this leather orb early lance. That may determine the outcome. He who controls the football the best.
A couple of absentees from the Waterhouse roster tonight. Andre McFarlane, who has scored a pair of goals for them so far this season. A double against Boys Town about 6 or 7 weeks ago. And Christian Herrera Armada, the Venezuelan. He's sitting in the stands with us. He's a spectator tonight.
And Lance, the former Olympic champion, Shelley and Fraser Price in the house.
Wow.
Michael Frater in the house. Safa Paul in the house. So you're not the only star here.
Oh. I welcome the company. There's Donovan Ducky, coach of the Waterhouse team, has brought some stability to them. They conceded 13 goals in their first 8 matches of the season. And conceded just 8 in 11 under Ducky's guidance. After his opening game loss to Montego Bay, Ducky has only 1 other defeat in 10 subsequent outings. So Waterhouse a lot stronger now with Ducky in charge. Cavalier on the attack. Oh, that's a fine strike from distance by Hamilton, getting his boots warmed up.
Good play from him there. Benbow trying to dribble out of the midfield lance and lost possession, and then Miller was also stripped by Hamilton and his shot just wide. But good attacking intent early from Cavalier.
Yeah, I think a very early indicator, George, that the players will have to be very cognizant of the slippery and uncomfortable playing conditions, so they'll have to take care of the ball a lot better than maybe they would normally have to.
Perhaps the rule for these central defenders will be, unlike under normal circumstances where you're encouraged to play the ball out of offense, you're expected to boot it clear and let the players further upfield do the ball handling.
Rudolph Speed, youngsters in his care, speaking very highly of how well he handles their youth program, a powerhouse in the under 13, under 15 and under 17 local leagues, and setting up the development program that has so many teenagers currently on their starting roster.
Don't think he gets the respect he deserves, Lance, for being very, very brave. Don't forget he got relegated with a team with many youngsters in it 2 or so seasons ago, and he's back, and this time they're playing well.
Miller with a cross from the right side.
In one game on the piece, that's the worst cross I've seen Mark Miller deliver. He's not started as brilliantly as he did against Reno. Let's see if that trend will continue for the game's sake, Lance. I hope that's the only bad one from his right boot.
There's their young teenage goalkeeper, the Cavalier, J.D. White. Will be off to the MLS Combine with Alex Marshall later on this week. A long list of about 23 players from different countries in the Caribbean with that Fort Lauderdale opportunity to advertise their skills to scouts to get some professional opportunities. Oh, great touch of the ball there by Topi. Camperdown standout and also national under-17 star. Waterhouse on the attack, ball driven at goal but blocked. Tremaine Stewart there with a strike. Cavalier looking composed at the back though. And they remember that they used 2 first-half goals back in October on a Monday night fixture to beat Waterhouse. And they want to take control early again here.
Yeah, 2 counter-attacks capitalizing on those defending, Lance. But Waterhouse a different team.
Yeah. Laston Reed, who scored the first of those 2 goals, not in the lineup tonight for Waterhouse. Ricardo Thomas, industrious on the left side. Stewart with a delightful ball across. Oh, that's a tremendous strike! Just wide of the target. What a strike that was from an acute angle. Caught the attention of goalkeeper White.
There are about 5 passes in that sequence. Look at Tremaine Stewart's ball. This is lovely. Has some time to look what he wants to do. And White had to get a palm to that, or that would have been in the back of his net. The defender's touch headed it into the path of White because I thought it was going away from goal. But the goalkeeper very alert, turned it behind for a corner.
Strike by young Andre Leslie, I think it was. A 20-year-old former Holy Trinity player. House with a low corner. Oh, left-footed effort. Going way over the top.
That was a beautiful attacking sequence just now from Waterhouse, though. Started from in defense. Calm play from them. 1 touch in the midfield. That's what you're going to have to do on this surface. You won't have the luxury of taking 2 on 3 to ponder with the ball. And good goalkeeping, keeping them out.
Miller, Ricardo Thomas exchanging passes there. Too much weight on that pass. Forward to Benbow, not getting to him. This is the man of the moment here for Waterhouse. He's in the first 5 minutes of this match, already having a few telling touches of the ball and has already brought a tremendous save from J.D. White in the Cavalier goal. So Waterhouse already looking a different team from the team that Cavalier beat back in October. Mark Miller, former Harborview player. He's ready. Oh, a little over. Laws with a header inside. Play broken up and the ball given away. Cavalier now on the counter-attack. Shaw. Great tackle there from Satchwell.
Premier League winner last year with Arnott Gardens. In fact, one of the most important players in that run-in that Arnott Gardens had to the final. Himself and Fabian Reed didn't put a foot wrong in the last 4 or 5 games of the season. Ensured Arnott Gardens' success. He's transferred to Waterhouse and has brought his good form with him.
Topi to Orlando Brown, former Jamaica College man, or the Jamaica College Manning Cup winner. Laws comfortable on the ball, but gives the ball away. Hamilton losing his balance but keeps possession of the ball.
So far, players not struggling with their footing on the ground just yet, but the drizzle continues and it's rather steady now. Let's hope the pitch does not cut up, Lance.
Yeah, that would be the factor here. Come with the header out. Oh, Leslie trying to squeeze the ball through. Brown. There's a Waterhouse player down, so Cavalier doing the sporting thing.
Yeah, but that's not sporting, Lance. That's silly because the rules not even suggest. The rules say you play until the referee has called a halt to proceedings. You're under no obligation to stop the play for an injured player to get treatment. And I believe Cavalier should have continued their attack.
Topi. Marsh trying to win possession, but Laws gets it away for Waterhouse. Miller wins it in midfield. Pretty start here to the game. The pace of the game impressive so far.
Yes, and imagine what it would have been on a better surface. The quality of the football hasn't been shabby so far, despite the soggy conditions.
Laws.
Offside.
Leslie in an offside position. There's Kimura Beckford. Scored in every match for Waterhouse until their 0-0 draw with Humberland. Well, the 4 matches leading up to that 0-0 draw with Humberland. So he's a man in form with 6 goals for Waterhouse so far this season. Brown. Marsh won't get to that one before Beckford does. Satchel, good pass inside to Miller. Giving away the ball now, and now Marsh has the ball for Cavalier. Didn't like his passing options forward, so turned the ball back. Stewart. Oh, that's the ball almost splitting the defense, but Topi read it well.
Cavalier want to play the game at a slower pace than Waterhouse do, Lance. When they have possession, Cavalier players want to take their time over picking out a pass, don't want to prompt the space. Waterhouse want to play at a higher octane. So a clear contrast in styles from both teams so far.
And there's a level of confidence in the Waterhouse body language, George, that we didn't see earlier on in the season. And that comes with not losing as many matches as they did before. They've lost just 1 of their last 10 matches, and their composure and attitude on the ball shows that.
Good results prompt self-assurance, Lance, and that's what we're seeing from this Cavalier team. But defensively, they've also improved. Just now notice when Cavalier had the ball, knocking it around in their own half. Only one Waterhouse man was in the Cavalier half because they dropped back, making themselves very compact, hard to pick a pass. Cavalier saw no way through.
Yeah, without question, one of the best teams defensively in the league at the moment, Cavalier. They did have a 4-3 loss to Arnett Gardens earlier on in the season, but even with that, they've only conceded 15 goals, and this is their 20th match now. Only Portmore with 10 and Tipperary with 12 have given up fewer goals than they have.
Very impressive. And that's the hallmark of Donovan Lucky. We talk about how attacking his teams are, but tactically they are set up to concede very, very few goals. There's a clear difference in philosophy with, like, say, Jerome Waite at Arnett Gardens, who doesn't care about conceding as long as he scores more than you. But this man builds his team, defense first, and then the rest follows.
Look, his Humberland team as regular season champions last year were by far the best defensive team, giving up just 21 goals in their 33 matches, and there was no team close to them as far as solid defensive work was concerned in the 2016-17 season.
Very good coach. Feels like he's underrated and underappreciated.
Did go close to getting Jamaica's under-20 team in the CONCACAF finals to the World Cup. Duki credits the much-traveled Boro Milutinovic for a lot of his knowledge of the football game.
Yeah, and Boro believed in him, gave him some prominence. But in this game, Lance, Cavalier, their patience. They've been trying to make their way up the field into the Waterhouse half, almost like an NFL team on a forward drive. Bit by bit by bit, Waterhouse much quicker, much slicker, also willing to use the long passes.
Beckford getting to the ball here, but being hounded. Stewart trying the cheeky control. Satchwell goes wide. The ball stops in water there, and Benbow has to check his advance. Also a huge puddle of water there, just actually stopping the ball from flowing. Satchwell looks as if he wants to go for goal there. And get the strike he needed though. So on that far side of the field, George, very, very heavy going there. Oh, great skill here from Hamilton. Pass short though. Trying to get Keno Simpson in. Beckford. Good strong tackling there from Brown. Puts pressure on Beckford and gives Cavalier the ball. One of the difficulties of a field like this, George, is that because of the slippery conditions, sometimes the ball will skid off the wet surface and actually gain momentum off it. But then if the field is where the water is, it will actually slow the ball. So sometimes you're passing here on a field like this and you're a little bit unsure about how to measure your pass.
And that's the problem, Lance. You hit the problem right on the head. So the player now begins to think, how much pace do I put on the ball? How much spin? How much cut? Where do I play it to chest? Do I play it to space? Do I play it to feet? And all those things, you're thinking about all those things. You're being closed down. It affects your game. And that's the sum total of what playing like on a surface like this does to a footballer.
Long ball played forward, and there you saw the ball actually gain speed after it hit the surface.
Benbow has struggled to get into the game so far over these first 15 minutes for Waterhouse. Just saw him chasing a lost cause, trying to get himself in to the pace, get himself to the pace of things. Cardinal Benbow there on your screen, and he's experienced enough, even though he's still young, to know that he just has to wait for his moment to come, and when it does come, capitalize.
Yeah, he was one of the key members of the St. George's College winning Manning Cup team in 2012. Also played on the winning championship team in 2011. Most times coming off the bench that year. Took his pass inside, is cut off by the smart moving Benbow. Miller finds himself left side. Stewart. Leslie. Oh, delightful ball forward for Beckford! Whoa, what a crashing right-footed effort! Not sure the goalkeeper got a touch onto that, or if it was opposed. But Beckford almost scored number 7 for the season.
Lance, that came back from the goal like a bullet. That couldn't have been a save. It must have been off the post. Look at this for a pass. Does enough to control it, and yes, it beat the young goalkeeper, but the upright got in the way. That was a fantastic opportunity for Waterhouse.
What a strike by Kamar Beckford, former Fraser's Whip and Rivoli player. Now with Waterhouse and having huge successes here with his new team.
It was an imprecise pass, but just got enough of a touch on the chest to knock it into his path, and under pressure lashed it home. The goalkeeper's near post coming to his rescue.
Smith gets a punch out in goal. Cavalier looking to counter-attack. Living dangerously, Cavalier. Marsh under pressure. Satchel puts the chase on. That's a foul for sure. Could be a yellow card as well.
Should be a yellow card, lads, because that was a late challenge.
Very, very late.
Marsh had gone, had done him for pace, had pulled him in, invited him to make the challenge, and then knocked it and changed another gear. Referee Lozier keeps the card in the pocket though. Let's look at Trevon Marsh now. No Satchel is coming. Takes another touch right here. That's a yellow card.
Yeah, I would think so. But the Canadian referee Lozier is easy on the former Arnett Gardens man. Marsh in a lot of pain. There's Satchel, the guilty man. But could have got a harsher punishment. Only giving up a free kick. Topi goes for the header!
Offside.
The whistle from referee Lozier.
Offside. That's the call. The assistant referee's flag on this near side, on our commentary sidelines, went up just as that ball went into the back of the net to signal that the man who turned the ball home had actually been in an offside position.
Topi wasn't that clean a header on goal, but still ended up in the goal.
And it wasn't Topi who was offside, just to be clear. It was the man who got the last touch. Melvin Marsh standing on the goal line behind the defenders, ahead of the play, and illegally so.
Oh, a dodgy touch there from goalkeeper White, Jardine White. Eventually got rid of the ball. Cavalier on the counter-attack. Oh, Stewart tackled successfully for the ball.
Beckford feeling the pain there. So this is what happened just now when the ball was turned home. The offside call. Look at Topi. Topi is not offside. Look at the ball going goalwards. And from the scramble, yeah, the second touch is what did it, because by that time, the man number 12 had run into an offside position, and that's why the goal was chalked off.
Cavalier in midfield. Marsh being fought for the ball by Beckford. Brown gets a tremendous challenge there from Ricardo Thomas. Transfer in the past summer from Marbley Hughenden.
Has been really eye-catching on this left-hand side of the fence for Waterhouse. Strong, athletic, fast, and doesn't mess about, either with his distribution or with his tackling, as evidenced on that occasion.
Cavalier on the attack. Near side effort. Pretty easy take in the end from Houghton in goal for Waterhouse.
Didn't have much of an angle and went to the goalkeeper's near post, which was covered with a piece of sheet metal. Couldn't reach that.
Whip pass inside there. Orlando Brown aiming for Nicholas Hamilton. Waterhouse in control in midfield with Miller. Ball skids off the surface and Thomas has to make the adjustment to retrieve the ball. Beckford under pressure, crashed into by Marsh. Free kick to Waterhouse.
Bailed out by the referee there, Beckford, because his first touch was poor. And I didn't see much wrong done by Chevron Messi Marsh there, but the referee believing otherwise.
The pace of this game, George, is providing energy and a lot of enjoyment for the fans, if only by the pace and the sort of frantic nature of the game at the moment.
Yes, indeed. And a part of the reason that Cardell Benbow has been struggling to get into the game for Waterhouse, and you can see that clearly he's not been with the team for a long time. We look at Dasha Satchwell on the screen now. The communication between Benbow, the wide attacker, this is the man, and the fullback on his side of the field, the right back, in this case Keno Simpson, has been poor. Simpson has been playing the ball when Benbow wants it, because there's not that familiarity, there's not that ease in communication between the players, and that has been evident so far. A large part of the reason why Benbow has struggled to register as an attacking force in this game to date.
Topi has to make the hasty clearance upfield, throw to Waterhouse. Beckford. Oh, coastal shot from distance. But it's far too much elevation on that one. Midway the first half, George. No goals yet, but lots of excitement for the fans and the pace of the game frantic.
I tell you what, Cavalier have settled down, Lance. They've been very patient. They expected an onslaught from Waterhouse, and under the conditions, they expected the home team to come running at them, and they've been patiently using the football intelligently and building their own forward momentum in this game.
Waterhouse in possession on the counter-attack. Beckford. Brown putting a lot of work in, coming back in defense and helping out Brown. Playing in a right-back position, Orlando Brown, so his primary function in this game is one of defense, but he does a fair amount of overlapping on the flank as well.
Yes, Lance, they're all young, they all have good engines, the Cavalier team, and they've been up and down the pitch, especially Orlando Brown. See the foul coming in there on Kamoy Simpson.
Here's Dasha Satchwell, had a tremendous late season outing for Arnett Gans last year that propelled them to the title. Now with Waterhouse. And there's Horton focusing on this free kick that is about to be struck by Topi. Oh, going for the scissors kick on goal and missing the effort, Michael Spence. I thought that with a more simple approach there, Spence could have scored, but went for some sort of spectacular scissors-looking back flick and missed the ball.
Oh my goodness, that his coach will be very angry with him if this game finishes goalless or if Cavalier loses. A conventional approach, Lance, would have yielded a goal, almost a certain goal, because he just needed to make contact. He was so close to the goalkeeper.
Yeah. Driven in hard by Chamoy Topi, Camperdown High School standout. The club at the moment in Premier League football, I guess Harbourview to a lesser extent, George, Cavalier, that best advertises the quality of the schoolboy players coming up into the big league.
Oh,
There's
yes.
Dookie.
Oh yes, Dookie must be worried now because his team have lost the early initiative they've had. Saw a goal ruled out for offside. And a dangerous sequence from Cavalier just now. Yes, the home team, you can sense the energy has gone from the crowd, who was willing this Cavalier team, this Waterhouse team on early, but they've lost that momentum. They need to regroup.
Biggest moment of this match there, Shelly and Fraser Price. Olympic 100 meters high there too, you sprint star. A new mom, of course, like Serena Williams.
Oh yes.
Back in training. Not sure if she has Commonwealth Games action on her mind, but certainly wants to resuscitate her career after Olympic 100 meter titles in Beijing and London. A foot injury, robbing her of a good chance of making it 3 100-meter titles with her Rio effort. She had to settle for a bronze there.
Yes, indeed. And good to see Michael Frater and Asafa Powell in tow. Former teammates at MVP, don't forget. Frater now an executive at the Jamaica Administrative Athletics Association. Outstanding sprinters all around. Bona fide world-class lads.
Yeah.
The Caribbean did it again.
Of course, this is her community, Waterhouse. It's the area that she grew up and attended Wilbur's Girls' School as well while living in this community. So steady rain all late afternoon into the evening, and it hasn't really stopped. Jermaine Stewart robbed of the ball. Beckford, his teammate, helps him out. Stewart gives the ball away again. Hamilton. Brown.
Support by Cavalier, Lance.
Yeah, good, confident passing here by Cavalier. Marsh to Shaw. Shaw, former Calabar player. There's Cavalier on the attack down the left side with Hamilton. Under pressure from Keno. Simpson gets away from Simpson. Oh, but gives the ball away. Stewart now has it for Waterhouse. Satchwell. Both teams giving the ball away. Shot driven on goal. Oh, Horton fails to hold it well. And difficult conditions here for goalkeepers to flourish. So it may have looked as if that was an error from Horton, but to be quite fair, the strike there from Shaw with the ball skidding off the turf may not have been all that easy for Horton to hold.
Yeah, unless Marsh's good foot. But the problem that Waterhouse is having here, Lance, is the reason Cavalier have been good. I'll tell you after the corner.
To the near post. Beckford, I think it was there on the near post to get the clearance out. So Waterhouse showing a lot of teamwork here in their team. Quite often you see their attacking players back in defense helping out. And there's Benbow charging away down the right side. Benbow's cross inside is a great one, looking for Beckford. Doesn't quite get to Beckford. Stewart had an option to strike, but instead went for the pass to Beckford. It didn't go through.
I tell you what, it's a difference of patience, Lance. Cavalier have been so patient going forward. Even if they're outnumbered in attack, they bring other players into the attack. Waterhouse are in such a hurry, so pumped up, Lance, to move from defense to attack, that they're rushing the play, long balls. Some ambitious passes, especially from Dasha Satchwell, who works hard to win it in the middle and then gives it away with a 20-yard pass. That's the difference between the teams. That's why Cavalier's in the ascendancy right now.
Yeah. And one of the things that you've got to consider here as well is the sort of pressure that this Waterhouse team is under because of the fans. They demand so much from them. Stewart with the effort blocked. Marsh on the counter-attack now for Cavalier.
One of the few times that Cavalier didn't wait, Messi Marsh going for the Hail Mary pass, as they'd say in another sport, trying to pick out Hamilton. Rare turnover like that from the Cavalier team. Stop it play from their captain.
Yeah. Messi play there from Coy Simpson, totally missing the ball. Giving up a throw here to Waterhouse.
The benefit of patience, Lance, is that when you hurry the play on a surface such as this, you're effectively tangling with the opposition and you're also fighting the surface. The conditions are not good, so you take care of the ball, you are patient.
Thomas retrieves the ball on the left. Marsh puts the chase on. Beckford goes to the corner flag. Brown puts pressure on. Enough pressure to force an error from Beckford. Into the last 15 minutes before the halftime break.
So you saw just now Dasha Satchwell from the right-hand side. A lateral pass of about 40 yards to pick out a teammate. And that wasn't necessary. He could have used 2 or 3 short passes to get the attack going, and then Waterhouse turned it over.
Throw. Close to the halfway line for the home team, Waterhouse.
And you see Dookie there gesticulating in the background, not happy with how his team is going about their attacking business in this game. Rudolph Speed will be happier of the two coaches. That man not happy, but Speed would have loved a conventional approach rather than an expansive flick that was attempted just now. His team would have been 1-0 up.
Thomas gets by Brown. Thomas, loves the overlapping moves, but now does too much. Does well enough to regain the ball though. And wins a free kick, 25 yards out. And Kimar Shaw doesn't like the call from referee Lozier. Initially did too much, but with industry, fought back to regain possession of the ball, and fouled here by Shaw.
And that's a good call. That's a foul every day. Good perseverance by Shaw.
I think he was disappointed because he was fighting for the ball. So his intention was to get to the ball, but he definitely fouled his man there. And this is a dangerous free kick here with Tremaine Stewart and Mark Miller both showing interest in striking this one on goal.
I'd go for Miller, but the captain looks to be pulling rank, lads. Tremaine Stewart, as if he's going to take it. Hasn't been affecting the game so far, that man, Tremaine Stewart in the captain's arm, man. Maybe this is his moment.
Stewart's gonna strike, the former Portmore man. Two Waterhouse men going in the wall to confuse things as Cavalier try to defend. The 34th minute, Tremaine Stewart's strike is poor. Way off target.
You know, he kicked that, it would appear as if the ball got punctured on the way forward, deflated and just went out of control. But yeah, it won't be so kind to him as to bail him out with that. It was just a poor connection, poor effort. Really has had a forgettable first half so far, the captain Tremaine Stewart. Not at the races just yet.
Currently 7th in the table. Waterhouse 6 behind 4th place Cavalier. Foul, free kick to Waterhouse. Thomas been all over the field so far, and now hurting for a blow to the hip.
Yeah, and it's the same area that was hit when he won that free kick which Stewart wasted just now. So it was still sore, and he got another blow to the area. So this is it. Took some studs there. That's painful under any circumstance.
Yeah.
Whether or not you had taken a blow before in that area. But for some reason, Lance, knocks like those seem to hurt more in the rain.
that was a pretty solid blow there. The fans, despite the rain, are glued to the action here at Jerusalem. Less than 10 minutes to the halftime break.
We saw a lot of Cavalier in the season they got relegated 2 seasons ago. Their approach play was good, but they didn't have a cutting edge up front. They've improved that significantly this season. But even now in this first half, we've seen instances where the finishing hasn't quite matched to the approach play. And that's why this game is still at 0-0, because Cavalier did have the chance to go ahead, and they didn't take it. Waterhouse started brightly, but have lost their way since about the 15 or 17 minute mark of this game.
Miller angry with the referee's call for the foul against Shaw. The last 10 meetings between these two teams, we've had 5 Waterhouse victories, 3 drawn results, and only 2 Cavalier wins. Before Cavalier beat Waterhouse back in October here at Jerusalem, they had not beaten them since September 2013. That's more than 4 years. Waterhouse on the attack. Benbow inside. Stewart is having a difficult game here tonight, struggling with the conditions. Marsh shoves Thomas in the back. And Marsh is going to get a yellow card. So the Cavalier captain gets into the Canadians' bad books.
And that was unnecessary from Chevron Marsh. The ball was dead, was being shepherded out by Simpson, and he had no need to barge the Waterhouse left back over, and deservedly goes into the book. There it goes. Ball is gone, and it's when the ball is dead that Marsh is quote-unquote challenging. Deserves a booking for that.
Yeah, off the field as well. Not only the ball being dead, but he actually struck him off the field.
Part of the problem Waterhouse is having in the midfield, Lance, is Dasha Satchwell. His passing has just been off, but he's been trying to play too many long passes.
Thomas losing his footing there.
Here he goes again, another long pass, turns over possession, and he's been doing that with regularity in this first half. That's a problem for Waterhouse.
Oh, Keane Simpson is stripped of the ball by Spence. And Cavalier in possession. Marsh under some pressure, does well. Marsh, still Marsh. Too much weight on that. Marsh wasn't able to get to it in time.
Again, promising from Cavalier is simple, patient, quick use of the ball, and just finding teammates. The ball carrier always has a man 4 or 5 yards away from him, and he's able to make those quick snappy passes. This man's team is playing well. Just need to find the finish now.
Yeah. We've spoken about their road record, George. 6 wins in 9 matches on the road. Impressive in their away fixtures so far this season. It's part of the reason why they're number 4 in the league.
Yeah, in their relegation season, they couldn't buy a point on the road. Even if they were spending bitcoins. Different story this campaign.
And significantly for Cavalier, the last 2 times that they have beaten Waterhouse in Premier League history, both results have come here at Jerusalem. So fresh in their minds is their ability to beat Waterhouse at Jerusalem.
Again, poor by Waterhouse. That pass, that's a simple pass. Players at this level are supposed to be able to make. And for some reason, Waterhouse just not making those passes.
Pretty clean gear of the central defenders for Waterhouse. Number 8, Nikolai Finlayson, and 30, Sean Laws. Could be an indication that they haven't been asked to do too much in defense by these Cavalier attackers so far in this match.
And yet Cavalier have posed a threat to the Waterhouse backline. Well, the point is taken. That man really struggled to get into the game, Cardell Benbow. Eager, full of running, but just not linking up with his teammates, and it shows that he has not been part of this squad for the pre-season, has only just joined them. And in the coming weeks, when the chemistry sets in, you'll be able to see Cardell Benbow at his true level.
Mark Miller with a cross from the right. A lot of weight on that. The header toward goal. White holds on to it second time. Beckford with a header, but didn't get a strong header on. Excellent work there from Benbow to keep the ball in.
Yeah, fast as a bat.
Yeah. Beckford trying to chase. Topi is there shadowing.
Offside.
Whistle, offside call against Beckford.
Miller again delivering on the button, Lance, and that should have been better. It deserved a better finish than it got from Kamara Beckford. You see the offside call once again.
Well, looks dodgy.
The camera angle, Lance, I'm tempted to say that, but the camera angle was not the best.
Hamilton with the effort from outside the box, and it goes high.
Had 2 men running to his right, asking him for a cross, but they didn't come. That's Beckford, Kamar. he connected with Mark Miller's free kick just now. And didn't do it justice. So this is Miller's free kick. And look at Beckford at the back post. His teammate may have gotten in his way. And Laws with a second bite of the cherry, but by that time White had gotten his positioning spot on and the threat snuffed out.
The header from Beckford actually lodged onto Leslie's boot or his knee. Hamilton! Well held by Horton in goal.
Yeah, didn't have many options for him there. There were two men coming forward, but they were being tracked by Waterhouse runners getting back in defense, and he had to go solo on the left foot effort. Left-footed effort though, not true. Straight to goalkeeper Horton. Look at how Cavalier are coming out of defense, Lance.
Yeah.
Patience, low-risk passing, playing it to a man in space. Waterhouse not doing the same thing when they get possession.
Beckford dropping deep to retrieve the ball. Does so much work on the field, Beckford. His pass inside, not finding Leslie.
Gives the ball away, Lance, you're kind. That's what he did after doing the hard work.
Spence does well to keep possession here. Laws blocks the effort and gives up a corner, which Hamilton will strike.
I tell you what, Keno Simpson struggled to stay with Chevron Messi Marsh there, but saw the job through to the end, because there were moments when he looked as if he was being beaten, being led for dead, and stood up to the Cavalier captain to get that boot in the way for a corner.
Corner to Cavalier in the final minute of the half. Topi with a header down. Waterhouse scrambling the ball to safety. Benbow. Topi shows great quality there.
That's a third header that Topi has won in the box, Lance, from a corner. And the Waterhouse big men, Sean Laws and Nikolai Finlayson, should have gotten the memo that Topi and his height would have been a danger from set pieces for Cavalier. They've not been picking him up so far.
I heard Rudolph Speed talking in the pre-match. A minute to be added on for stoppages about a plethora of teenagers on his roster. Cavalier are actually claiming history, George, that in their recent game against Montego Bay, when they started Kaheem Paris, Jamoy Topi, and Jadine White, first time 3 17-year-olds were. What a strike from the left side, from Marsh it was. And track stars enjoying the frantic action on the field.
And police officers as well. That's an assistant superintendent in the background, beside two seats down from Michael Frater to his right, Steve Brown. And Jason Price, that's Mr. Price. To you, Mr. Lance.
And while we were saying we're not sure if Shelly Ann Fraser-Price has Commonwealth Games on her mind for April, Asafa Powell, who is 2 spots away from her, has indicated that he wants to be at the Commonwealth Games. Right now, it's half-time at Drewsland, and rainy conditions, and it's been a tough ask here for both teams. There's a 6'4" 18-year-old Jamoy Topi, who has been solid in defense for Cavalier so far, but no goals in this fixture yet.
I tell you what, Lance, it's been a good game despite the conditions. It has been a good game. There have been chances for both teams. Cavalier have really played well, have settled into this game. Waterhouse lost their way after 17 minutes. They need to regroup, the home team does.
0-0 at half-time. Red Stripe Football Mondays, Waterhouse and Cavalier at the Drewsland Stadium. Back in a moment.
One bag of gold medal pan me now. Red Red stripe alone champion boy go. Banner pour them a singing anthem to. Red stripe, watch out, watch out, watch out. Man, shall I be the forward boy? Red stripe Premier League champion boy score. Every goal winner run from boy. Red stripe Premier League champion boy now.
The Red Stripe Premier League for champions only.
So it's been a rainy night, not in Georgia, but at the Jerusalem Stadium. Waterhouse and Cavalier battling the conditions here. No goals in the first half, but it's been a tough, frantic encounter between these two teams and a couple of scoring opportunities to boot.
Waterhouse started very, very brightly, full of energy, and then this play, nice exchange of passing. They didn't do enough of this. And then look at this effort, the goalkeeper seeing it late because it took a deflection of the forehead of his central defender. See if he can pick that out. And all of a sudden the ball was on target. And he slapped it away, did Jadine White. Kemar Beckford now at it and off the post. The goalkeeper's three best friends, the two uprights and the crossbar. And best friend number 2 coming to his rescue there. Cavalier had their chances. Topi headed this one goalwards. It may have gone forward, but it was touched at the end by one of his teammates who spoiled it. And the assistant referee blew for offside. Here's Messi Marsh lining it up. A stinging shot, skidded off the surface. Diego Horton had to get everything behind it and turn it away for that corner. And then this effort from Mark Miller. What will Kemar Beckford do? Can't make a good connection. Sean Laws. And then Jadine White standing tall, using his big frame to keep it out. But Waterhouse missing that opportunity at the back post from that free kick.
Yeah, so great opportunities for both teams here to score. None of them successful so far, though. 4 attempts on goal by Waterhouse, 3 of them on target, 6 by Cavalier, 2 of those on target. 10 fouls recorded so far in the match, 6 of them to Cavalier. Oh, that 1 yellow card so far in this match. And 2 offside calls against Waterhouse. 2 corners each for both teams. Cavalier have had more possession of the ball at 53%. So at halftime, no goals in the fixture. Waterhouse and Cavalier locked at 0-0. Before the match, Cardell Benbow, a former St. George's College standout and Manning Cup winner of 2012, recently playing in the USA with Harrisburg City Islanders, spoke to George Davis.
Here with Cardell Benbow, the former outstanding St. George's College schoolboy football player, has been making waves in the USL with the Harrisburg City Islanders. Cardell, good to see you back on local soil. What's your ambition?
It's very good. You know, it's a pleasure to be back home to play some good football. You know, try to put back myself in the national program and help others go back in the table, eyes on the prize.
While you were in the USL, I've watched several clips of you. Your club have done a good job to market you to anyone who's interested in your skills. You know, what is the most important lesson you've learned in your time in the United States?
It takes more than talent, you know, more than talent to just go out there to just try to dominate, you know. I learn a lot, you know, otherwise from playing football. Football itself is more than life, you know. You experience a lot of thought, a lot of things I learn over there. So I try to come back home to showcase my talent and experience what I get overseas to my players and then take it from there.
Many people working in various fields of endeavor, Cardell, are not able to look at their peers working. A footballer is different. You can look at Messi every week. You can look at Ronaldo every week. You can look at Coutinho every week. How much motivation is there in you by virtue of watching these international stars play week in, week out?
I learn a lot. You know, I know that they're born with a great talent, you know, and I read about them a lot, and it takes more than talent. They're just always working, you know, and I just execute from what they have and just try to do the best of my ability, translate in my thought and just work from there.
Cardell, there's a new dispensation in local football right now, Jamaican football. Previously, players from England were given preference. Now, there's a coaching staff that says, look, wherever the player is, once the player is talented, that player will get a chance. If you are back in the Premier League as you are now and you're playing well, you'll get a chance. If you're in the USL, wherever you are, you will play if you are good enough. How does that make you feel about your chances of figuring in the senior national setup prominently?
Well, I just have to just focus here with others. Each time the coach giving me to go there to play, I try to play the best of my ability. You know, the JFF is doing their job. You know, it just lead up to me, you know, to just go there, execute the best of my ability and just do my job. And whenever they call me, I'm ready, mental and physical.
In terms of this Waterhouse team, your conversations with Donovan Duke, your coach, what role has he cut out for you in the squad?
There's no role, you know, he just told me that to just go there, execute and just enjoy the game. You know, there's no pressure. I just come here to just be at the same page as the other players and no one getting no special treatment. Everyone is on the same page, whether I play abroad or I play here. You know, you just come in, gel as one, be as a part of the family, and I'm happy to be here as well.
Final question, Cardell. Physically, you know, that's a day-to-day basis. You may feel well today, be fit today, tomorrow not so. The most important place is between your ears. Mentally, are you ready to make that next step to be a full-fledged professional footballer who's in the eyes of your national coach?
Yes, why not? You know, just here to just do my job, you know, and my job is to just come out here and just do what the coach told me to do and just execute the best of my ability.
Thank you very much, all the best.
Thank you.
So George there speaking with Cardell Benbow. Now St. Andrew Technical had an outstanding goalkeeper that helped them to go all the way to the Manning Cup final where they were beaten by Jamaica College. He's Jadine White and he's with George as well.
Here with the stats outstanding goalkeeper Jadine White. Jadine, the transition from schoolboy football to senior football, how are you finding that?
It's not hard because I was a part of the team from last year. I also was a major part of the team qualifying back to the Premier League, so it's just coming back to my own and getting ready for this game. It's easy.
And in terms of your ambition from here on in an outstanding schoolboy football campaign, the world is basically ahead of you now. You've displayed your talent. What do you want for yourself in this field of endeavor over the next few years?
Well, I see myself playing pro, collecting a good amount of funds to provide for me and my family, but at the same time I have to focus on my education because anything is possible at the moment, knowing how the world is going.
Yeah. A Cavalier advertising themselves as the place for youth, the place to give youngsters a chance. How are you finding the experience being a part of a very, very, very youthful setup?
This is my third year being with Cavaliers. In total I've won about 12 to 15 competitions with them. It's a good youth program. Mr. Speed, as an individual, knows how to deal with the youngsters, and it's a very good place for you to bring a child to come and develop as a football player.
The MLS Combine, we've looked at the list of names from Jamaica who are going to Sawgrass in the United States for the MLS Combine. You are on that list. When do you travel and what are your expectations?
Well, I'm traveling tomorrow morning, so my expectation is to get picked and selected by one of the top colleges to play. So that's where my eyes are at the moment.
It's wet out there on the Jerusalem pitch, Jadine. The Waterhouse team playing very well of late. Are you confident that you can handle the conditions and that you can take 3 points from this place?
Yes, I am very confident. My team is a quality team, quality. So it's not going to be hard. It's just going to be, a little tricky because the pitch is wet. So we're just going to go there and do our best and get the 3 points and go back home.
As a goalkeeper, you look every week at the major leagues. You look at De Gea in the EPL. You look at Manuel Neuer for Bayern Munich. You look at some of the top goalkeepers from Spain, Andre Blake, the Jamaican in the MLS, and of course Keylor Navas in goal for Real Madrid. Who is your inspiration as a goalkeeper, and perhaps is there even an outfield player that you like better than a goalkeeper?
Well, I keep my eyes on three. 2 goalkeepers and 1 outfield player. My favorite goalkeeper is Andre Blake. I'll be playing in his glove and boot tonight that he gave to me Friday night. And I also like the Manchester City goalkeeper because he's very confident as a youngster and he's very good with his feet, and I also want to be good with my left foot, and he's also a left footer. But the outfield player that I like to see play the most is Paul Pogba.
Pogba?
Yes.
There you go. All right. Well, all the best for tonight's game, and all the best for the combine. And we hope that your career continues on this trajectory.
Thanks very much.
All right.
So Jaden White there, one of 23 Caribbean players who will be in Fort Lauderdale this week for the MLS Combine, an opportunity for young players to be seen by scouts. And the track star, Shelly-Ann Fraser-Price, Michael Frater, Asafa Powell, and Mr. Price, Shelly's husband, enjoying what Waterhouse has to offer tonight in a Red Stripe Football Mondays fixture. So, we'll be back in a couple of minutes for the second half action. 0-0 at the moment between Waterhouse and Cavalier. Red Stripe Football Mondays.
One bag of gold medal pan me no. Red Stripe alone champion boy go. Pan a pour them a singing anthem to. Red Stripe, watch out, watch out, watch out. Man shall I be the forward boy. Red Stripe Premier League champion boy score. Every goal win a run from boy. Red Stripe Premier League champion boy now.
The Red Stripe Premier League for champions only.
The rain has been falling all night here at Drewsland, where Red Stripe Football Mondays is hot with Waterhouse and Cavalier in battle. No goals yet, though, between the home team Waterhouse and Cavalier, but the action has been frantic, and Cavalier have been matching them. In fact, Waterhouse looked a lot better in the first 10-15 minutes than they did in the second part of the first half.
Yeah, I'm sure when referee Lozier was coming to do this match, he anticipated good weather. After all, he said, well, I'm going to Jamaica, I'm leaving the cold behind in Canada, but he's traded the cold for incessant rain here. It's not been heavy rain, but it's been steady, and there were points earlier in the afternoon when it was heavy. So the surface now feeling the strain of the water. The match, the first half lasted for 45 minutes, half time has been 50 minutes, so 1 hour at least of steady rain. And as you can see, the puddles beginning to form on the Drewsland pitch. It could be difficult for the players in this second half. Waterhouse, the passing, excellent up to this point. Bad touch there by Simpson, but gets it going. And the shot beaten away by Janine White. Tremaine Stewart's pass, excellent. Let it run across his body and swung it goalwards. That was the outstanding chance from Waterhouse after a very good sequence of passing. They did not do enough of that in the first half, and that's why their game faltered.
Yeah, and in these conditions, goalkeepers have a really, really tough time, George, and forwards and attacking players, or any player for that matter on the field, should be encouraged to strike at goal as often as they can, because as we've seen, the goalkeepers are having a tough time there, not only holding on to the ball firmly, but keeping their footing as well.
One of the things that muted Cardell Benbow, the number 19 man for Waterhouse in the first half, was that the side of the pitch that he was playing on in a wide right, outside right position, as you'd call it in the old-time football positioning days, there were puddles over on that side of the field. He's on a better patch of the pitch now. Let's see what he can do.
Satchel goes wide to Benbow early. Benbow has a lot of confidence in his own dribbling ability, but a lot of physical strength imposed on him there by Jerome Smith. For Cavalier, there's Smith, former Lennon player. Benbow's skill. Smith. Hamilton has room here. Spence gives the ball away. Toku with a big clearance downfield. Miller's pass forward is excellent to Tremaine Stewart, but he is knocked off the ball. Actually, the referee may have been an offside call there against him, maybe.
I feel for the fans in the stadium, Lance, and those watching on TV, because this game would have been a cracker had we had a dry pitch That said, the football over the first 45 minutes wasn't too shabby.
Yeah. Leslie puts the chase on. Plummer shadows the ball safely into the arms of the teenager White. Plummer has been solid at central defense for Cavaliers so far this season. One of the reasons why their defensive record is bettered only by a couple of teams. Portmore and Tivoli.
Gary McIntosh is stripped and ready for Waterhouse, Lance, and that's amazing because we've only played what? Just about 2 minutes of this first half, of the second half, and he's already taken off his bib and is poised to come on. See him there on the far side of the picture.
Satchel forcing the ball forward there, looking for Leslie.
Another poor pass, Lance, and the crowd getting on his back because they were saying there was a shorter pass for you to make. Dasher Satchwell's problem so far in this game, he wants to play the Hollywood pass, Lance. He wants to make it look spectacular. He just needs to keep it simple.
Okay, looking to get a bit flustered now as his Waterhouse team isn't giving him the kind of output he wants. They were scoreless against Humberland in their previous game, so they've got to get their goal-scoring touch back. Prior to that, they had a 1-0 victory over Harborview, drew 1-1 with Arnett, and beat Reno 2-1. Dookie's only defeat with this Waterhouse team since his opening game against Mobay, which he had just joined the team, would have been that 2-1 loss to Portmore. But then, how disappointed can you be if Portmore beats you, George?
Not at all, especially when Portmore can overturn the defending champions and unbeaten Arnett Gardens 5-1. So the change is now being made. Number 21, well, number 27, looks to be Andre Leslie, is coming out for Waterhouse. Leslie trudges off, disappointed, doesn't seem injured. There may be a tactical change as early as 2 minutes, as 3 minutes into this second half by Coach Donovan Dukie. There's Leslie, walks off, disappointed, forlorn.
Yeah.
But he makes way for an experienced striker, Lance.
Yeah, Leslie was very potent in the first 5 or 10 minutes of the game, but then he just died after that. McIntosh, the 33-year-old, former Godfrey Stewart player, also played with Arnett Gardens and Humberland before.
Played for Dukie at Humberland last season.
That's right. Miller, Simpson, McIntosh in the middle waiting for it. Simpson gets it away. Satchwell, Thomas, Beckford wide. Great skill by Beckford, his first touch good. Satchwell, McIntosh, Benbow. Benbow, still Benbow. Tremaine Stewart on the pressure. Does well to keep the ball. Benbow, McIntosh has gone in for the cross. Simpson with the cross now. Poor cross. Cavaliers defenders deal with it easily.
Much better passing from Waterhouse just now, though, Lance. A lot of shorter passes. Players playing a pass and running into space to receive. That's better.
Yeah, and the crowd enjoying those simpler passing options being displayed by Waterhouse. Stewart drives that one with a lot of power, but Simpson gets in the way.
Good defending. Tremaine Stewart coming short to collect from Dasher Satchwell and not hesitating to pull the trigger.
The type of team Waterhouse that has hundreds of spectators watching their training sessions, so they would be very au fait with Donovan Duke's tactics and pattern that he executes in training, so they want to see the team do that on the field of play on match day.
Excellent point. That's why they are so demanding. They know what this team can do and what this team is trained to do.
Miller with a corner for Waterhouse. Laws goes for the header and misses it. May have been shoved a little bit there in the back, I'm not sure. But he missed that one as if he had no control over his body weight.
Was arriving like a freight train, Lance.
He's a big man. He would be a heavyweight if he was in the boxing game. Probably close to 220 or 30 pounds at the moment. Former national goalkeeper at under 17. Miller does well to win the header there. Benbow collects the ball inside. Stewart. Going for Benbow, but alert with the challenge there was Kamoy Simpson.
So Waterhouse starting the second half as they did the first. Aggressive on the front foot, asking the questions, passing the ball and pressing. Let's see if they can sustain this for longer than they did in the first half, and even better than that, if the approach play can yield a goal for them. Cavalier have been pushed back into their shell somewhat by the approach of Waterhouse so far in the second half.
Benbow knocked over from behind by Omar Walcott. Simpson with a big clearance downfield. Finlayson. Shaw gets the ball wide and the speedy Brown goes charging away.
Just too much on it from Hamilton. Messi Marsh couldn't get there and knocked it out for a throw, and he's upset the captain, asking that he need a little less on it.
Yeah, you know, to be fair, I do agree 100%, George, with your point that if this game was played on a dry surface and not these rainy conditions, I think would have been treated to a real high quality game. Two coaches that emphasize good passing games. We know about Duke's quality passing teams, which Waterhouse is now showing that they can be. Cavalier have displayed that as well this season.
Yes, indeed. And I made the point earlier that Rudolph Speed doesn't get the respect he deserves for the quality of his coaching and the philosophy that he has fostered at Cavalier. Has old enemies, Rudolph Speed does, and so that serves to undermine his contribution. But the way he has Cavalier playing and the way he has had Cavalier playing since he's been at the club has been nothing but tremendous. Good call there by the referee. Neither of these coaches, Lance, likes winning ugly. They want to win playing beautiful football.
Yeah.
And that philosophy is imprinted in everywhere, in every team that Duke has gone. And it has been the Cavalier way since Rudolph Speed has been in charge.
Cavalier decades ago were known as the Duncan Destroyers because of their coach Leighton Duncan, who guided them to titles back in 1980, also 77 and 76, 3 titles for Cavalier in the National Premier League. There's players like Clarence Prendies and David Burgess, David Bernard, whose son went on to play cricket for the West Indies.
Which is why you should have said David Bernard Sr.
Throw to Waterhouse deep in the Cavalier half. Steady rain all night. Referee Pierre-Luc Lausier from Quebec in Canada with the whistle tonight. Beckford turns well. His cross inside presents some danger here for the Cavalier defenders, but Shaw is comfortable and composed at the back. No one challenging these Waterhouse defenders. 4 spread across the back. And no pressing from the Cavalier team. McIntosh's return pass to Benbow. But Simpson has too much body for Benbow. Laws gets the ball away only as, wow, some studs there showing from Omar Walcott.
Benbow has been more involved for Waterhouse in the second half, Lance, but still is yet to make that impact that you'd expect a player of his quality to make. Oh, another bad pass by Hamilton. That's atypical of what Cavalier have been doing in this game so far. Usually they make 2 or 3 more passes, but he went for the big pass, trying to spring Chevron Messi Marsh and overcooked it.
Nicholas Hamilton, very, very speedy player. Without Alex Marshall as one of his attacking partners here tonight. Coaching staff of Cavalier. Speed opting not to put Marshall out on these dodgy conditions here tonight because he travels tomorrow to the MLS Combine in Fort Lauderdale. Long list of Caribbean players on that program. Oh, this Hamilton does really well here, charging forward. Does well to keep possession of the ball. He's Everton goal! Oh, hits the post! What a strike from Hamilton! Denied by inches.
Brilliant play by Nicholas Hamilton. Didn't have much going in terms of a passing option and took a step to his right and tried to bend that. He did bend it, but not enough to get inside the post. Waterhouse lucky.
Oh, an aggressive challenge there from Orlando Brown on Satchwell.
I want to see that challenge again, but it looks as if Orlando Brown got the ball first and then in the follow-through took the legs of Dasher Satchwell, but maybe the referee is saying, yeah, well, you were still reckless in executing the challenge though. From my vantage, I saw the player get the ball first, but sometimes it's the intent and the aggression with which the tackles. But this is Hamilton. Laws confronting him. Not much on it. He goes for the curler, and unfortunately for him, hit the outside of the post. That would have been a brilliant solo goal.
Second time in the match that Waterhouse are striking the post, George, because Kimar Beckford struck the inside post in the first half early.
Yes, indeed, and the referee was right. Brown got none of the ball there, and all of Dasher Satchwell's foot. Right call.
Satchwell slides this inside. McIntosh with a header. White with an easy take. Oh, and McIntosh is hurt.
Oh, took a shot above. Oh. You're a boxing man, Lance. You know that the eyebrows run about that region, one of the softest parts of the body.
Yeah, clash of heads and bleeding from McIntosh for sure. And here's the play again. McIntosh soars really high here, goes up for the header. Clashes with Topi. And McIntosh bleeding profusely.
I think Topi's fine because Topi's forehead is where McIntosh's eye may have hit. Both men getting attention. Both men look to be down for the count.
McIntosh really did well there, climbing high to get the header on, but is now suffering from a laceration just up above the left eye. And Topi also looks to be in a bad way.
Yeah, McIntosh really snapped his neck into the effort. He suffered a cut as well, Lance. So both men paying the price for that challenge, and Topi to me looks dazed. And let's hope he's not concussed, because if he is, he'll have to leave the field.
Yeah. Referee Losier and his assistant. And here's when McIntosh really rips the head around to get power on the header, and that is the move that propelled his face into Topi's head, and he's in a lot of discomfort, Gary McIntosh.
A mighty effort from Gary McIntosh to get that header on target. Really put power in it. And Topi doing his job on hand to thwart the effort. And McIntosh will have to get the mummy bandage to the head. Maybe Topi will get the same. At least Topi is back on his feet, Lance, off the field. McIntosh still prostrate, getting patched up.
Yeah, some shots there of Donovan Ducky on the sideline, looking very, very dejected at the moment, and a heavily strapped face now from McIntosh, and he looks as if he's prepared to soldier on. And the early departure for the track stars.
Yes, indeed, they've seen enough. Michael Frater remains with us, but Asafa, Mr. Price, and Mrs. Price, the pocket rocket, make their exit via a red stripe helper.
Shelly Ann Fraser-Price will be trying to do what Valerie Briscoe Hooks of the United States did at the 1984 Olympics after giving birth, winning 200, 400, and 4x400 gold. What a run that was. Well, a congregation of runs. So both Topi and McIntosh currently off the field. So both teams at the moment down to 10 men.
One team losing its center forward, the other team losing its central defender.
Wow.
Well, a central defender.
So the restart. In consistent rain, the rain has not stopped, George, all night.
Yes.
And credit to the players, they have put their shoulders to the wheel and battled hard in the conditions. Benbow, all full of mud. Shoved off the ball again by Jerome Smith, who has been keeping a tight watch on Benbow.
McIntosh looks ready to come back in. They're still patching up Topi behind the Cavalier goal.
Skillful backheel pass there by Tremaine Stewart. Takes a return play from Beckford. But Shaw does well, shows a lot of skill in breaking the attack up. Takes a return pass. Shaw gets Hamilton going. Hamilton with room. Charges forward. Blocked by Keno Simpson.
Good defending by Simpson.
Benbow gets room on the right flank. Can't get by Simpson. Walcott with a clearance up. Spence. Marsh. Smith has gone wide. Hamilton has gone wide. Still Hamilton. Still Hamilton. Just a little bit too far forward there for Marsh, who wasn't able to get to the ball.
Marsh disgusted. Topi is back on the pitch, Lance. McIntosh still getting patched up, so Cavalier back to full complement.
Tremaine Stewart. Ricardo Thomas. Miller. Finlayson, Laws, Simpson. Benbow under pressure. Does well. Satchwells.
And that's the problem again, Lance. Benbow was 4 yards away asking for the pass, and Satchwell went for the Hollywood glory 20-yard effort that turned over possession. And that's been the story of his game and the story of Waterhouse's night so far.
Simpson. Satchwell. Walcott. Marsh. Spence. Knocked over by Satchwell.
Good call by the referee because he prevented.
Now McIntosh is back on.
Yeah.
Looks to have some swelling about the left eye as well. And Topi heavily strapped all about the head.
Benbow is out, lads, for Waterhouse, replaced by number 12, DeAndre Brown.
So Benbow, in his return to Premier League football for the first time since 2014, exits the game. And DeAndre Brown comes on in his place. The former Jamaica college man gets some playing time, and Topi with a free kick for Cavalier. Topi's kick is a searching one to the far post. Easy take by Horton.
Brown attempting to control that ball, Lance, like a man who scored, like a man who didn't warm up before entering the fray. There's Benbow. He'll have better days. Struggled with the conditions and struggled in communicating with his teammates. Not on the same wavelength, Benbow and the Waterhouse pack this evening.
Hamilton, still Hamilton. Great skill by Hamilton. Shaw goes for the strike from distance. Oh, woefully off target from the former Calabar man.
Poor, because Brown was making up the ground towards his right, asking to be played in on the overlap, which would have continued the passage of play. But Shaw said, well, we've been doing that all night and haven't been getting anything. I'm going for glory.
McIntosh. Brown the substitute. Simpson. Brown. Good pass inside to Tremaine Stewart. Satchwell!
Offside.
The offside flag has gone up. Promising build-up for Waterhouse. Scuppered by the assistant referee's flag. Yeah.
And it's unfortunate, Lance, that Satchwell has put in this performance this evening, because he wasn't this type of player at Arnett Gardens. Hard-working, hard-tackling, hard-running. But he used the ball so well. But has not used the ball well this evening at all. And that's why the Waterhouse fans have now got on the back of Dasher Satchwell wearing the 51 for Waterhouse, because he's undone the good work of himself and his teammates by going for the glory pass when the simple pass is available.
Sometimes it's a matter of adjusting to the conditions as well, because maybe some of those glory passes, as you've called them, if they were on a dry surface, they may have hit the target. But the fact is, the conditions here tonight, I think, are demanding of the players a more simple approach to the game.
And that's where intelligence comes in, because as we've said in this game so far, playing long passes on this pitch, there are a lot of difficulties attendant to that. So the simple thing is to keep it simple, keep it short, in the way Cavalier have.
Oh, that was great skill there by Jerome Smith. Hamilton daring. Strong challenge by Simpson. Finlayson gets away with the ball now, and Satchwell has it. Slides the ball forward. Topi just shadows, and in the end, White holds on to it well.
Another poor pass by Satchwell, who's angry at Gary McIntosh for not chasing that, and I can't understand why Satchwell is angry at McIntosh. It was another poor pass.
Simpson does well, beats Hamilton for the header. Satchwell goes forward now to McIntosh. McIntosh under some pressure. Gets some support from Brown. Brown. Ball cleared away there by Walcott. Thomas. Speedy on the flank, but he's given up the ball. And now Marsh has it. Waits for support. Gets it from Shaw. Shaw fouled by Tremaine Stewart, who thinks that the referee's call wasn't a good one.
Cavalier have a change, lads. They're taking out number 12, Michael Spence, and replacing him with Kaheem Paris, the Dintil schoolboy.
So Paris scored 31 goals for Dintil in schoolboy football this past season, turned 18 years old last week, Saturday, replaces Spence in really difficult conditions. And one of the things about coming on as a substitute in conditions like these, George, you have to quickly adjust the conditions. The player who you would have replaced would have been there for, in this case, 70-odd minutes and accustomed to the conditions.
And warm.
Yeah. Miller. Simpson knocks Brown off the ball.
It's going very wrong for Dasha Satchwell, Lance. He threw that ball. I don't think it came onto the park. He threw it out of touch. And that's why it's still Waterhouse ball, because it didn't enter the park at all.
So it's been a messy outing here for the visiting Canadian referee. Wet, sloppy conditions and rain throughout the entirety of the match. Thomas. Tremaine Stewart hustled off the ball. And Jerome Smith was tackled well in midfield tonight for Cavalier. Has been responsible for breaking up a lot of the Waterhouse attacks.
That's true.
Good skill by Beckford. Simpson gets the header out. Tremaine Stewart, good skill by Stewart. Oh, his shot is a foot and a half high.
That was the chance. Brilliantly worked by Tremaine Stewart. Excellent control. And then nice swerve of the body to shift the defender out of the way. And then went to pick the top right-hand corner. Look at his first touch. Excellent on the surface. Beats the defender easily. And then bang, looking for the top right-hand corner of White's goal. But only found the space over the bar.
Not a bad effort there from Tremaine Stewart. Did really, really well to set himself up for the shot. The effort was a bit high. Beckford, after striking the post early in the first half, hasn't been able to flourish here tonight in these conditions. That scored in 4 consecutive games for Waterhouse before their 0-0 draw against Tumbaland. Scored against Portmore in the losing 2-1 effort. Scored against Reno, also Arnett Gardens, and hit the winner against Harborview in that 1-0 score. But tonight, Beckford has been denied, but at least so far.
Yes, indeed. And hasn't figured as prominently in the second half as he did the first.
Plummer with a clearance for Cavalier. Marsh holds on to the ball too long and loses it. Stewart under pressure, keeps the ball well, wins a free kick, takes it quickly. Now Keno Simpson on the counter-attack for Waterhouse. Back heels here to Satchwell's, cross inside, not good. Plummer with a clearance. Miller. Oh, that's a good pass there from Brown. Beckford. Beckford does well. Good pace from Beckford. His cross is cross-blocked by Topi. Paris. Marsh being chased by McIntosh. McIntosh with a lot of aggression shoves Marsh to the ground.
You
Yellow card.
You want your centre forward to help defense, help to stop the counter attack in the transition. But McIntosh had 2 or 3 goals at fouling Chevron Marsh and couldn't keep pace with him, Lance. He used the arms to push him over. Excellent by Marsh, knew the challenge was coming and just ensured that his body was between McIntosh and the ball, and the big striker pushes him over.
Yeah, I think it's one of those situations where the referee goes by what he sees as intent. The ferocity with which McIntosh was chasing Marsh for about 25 meters told you that he was intent in stopping him at whatever the cost. Oh, Paris shows skill initially, but then loses his balance. Great pass forward, McIntosh. Ball skids off the surface and easily taken by White.
Lance, this man with the bandage on his head in possession, Topi, I think has been really, really good for Cavalier in this game.
Yeah, he's a top quality player. Played under 17 and under 15 football for Jamaica, Topi. Also solid as a holding midfielder as well, depending on what the coach wants him to do. Waterhouse fans disgusted that their team is giving the ball away so easily. Marsh. Ball overruns Paris. Walcott comes in support. Walcott's cross is blocked by the substitute DeAndre Brown. Less than 12 minutes remaining now. Walcott with the throw for Cavalier. Shaw with the effort. I think Miller has been hurt by the ball that crashed into his body. Ball stops into the water. Thomas gives the ball away. Shaw has it. I think Shaw went for goal there.
Yeah, about the 3rd time Shaw has gathered possession and has gone for the long shot. Miller put his body on the line and took a painful blow, trying to block a goal-bound effort.
Former Harbour View player. Summer transfer last August.
So Lance, in a game where attacking players have been blown to them, already thinking of who's the likely man of the match candidate. And I'm looking at young Topi.
Yeah, he certainly is a strong contender. I think Jerome Smith, the 21 for Cavalier, has also been solid in midfield.
Yes.
His tackling, his reading, his nullifying a lot of the attacking plays from the Waterhouse players. Significant. Plummer. Topi. Topi aiming there for Hamilton. There now goes McIntosh. But Plummer measures the tackle well and stops him. Miller for Waterhouse. DeAndre Brown. Pulls Marsh down, free kick to Cavalier.
Took a handful of Marsh's shorts.
Paris. Laws putting the chase on. Paris uses his youthful agility to get away from the bigger men.
Such a beautiful move, Lance. Languid, elegant Kahim Paris.
Walcott. Paris. Still Paris. Oh, the ball and the conditions. He's undone by them. Satchwell. Satchwell. Again, the cross is a poor one. The rebound. Oh, the effort on goal. Jadine White. Equal to the task.
DeAndre Brown with the effort. Didn't get much behind it.
Yes.
Swerved. But not too much trouble with the keeper.
They also mentioning that Rudolph Speed, the coach of the Cavalier team, was boasting that in their 1-0 win over Mobe, he started 3 17-year-olds on the day. First time in the history, as far as Cavalier have it in the Premier League, that a team had 3 17-year-olds on the field at the same time. Mars dribbles through, pulled down, free kick.
Excellent call by the referee. Excellent call by the referee. Marshlands on that dribble tried to stay on his feet. And he only went down because he couldn't stay up any longer. Driving run, knows the conditions are in the favor of a dribbler, knows the players will have difficulty stopping him. And although Miller tried not to foul, he still managed to do so. Chance now for Cavalier from this dead ball situation.
Yeah, there was contact for sure. And Topi has an opportunity to secure the man of the match honor, which he already is a strong contender for. Cavalier making a change as well, but let's get Topi with this strike for Cavalier. A 4-man wall here set up by Waterhouse. Topi. Right-footed! Oh, the rebound. And Waterhouse's defenders get the ball away.
It may have been curious that Horton didn't catch it, but it's a wet ball, Lance. And he punched, although they tell you to punch to the sides, he punched right to his feet and lucky to get away with it. Lucky the ball didn't break to a man in a blue shirt.
Good pass inside by Kaim Paris. Brown with an effort on goal right across the goal area. Orlando Brown. I thought he went for goal there.
He did go for goal, but Hamilton upset with him. He was arriving directly towards the penalty spot and wanted the ball knocked in his direction. There's a change. The one you mentioned just now, Gadiel Irvin, coming on for number 14, Orlando Brown, who has put in a really good shift at right back. Attacking and defending, has overlapped with purpose, has defended stoutly. And the fresh legs of Irvin to see us through the remainder of this game.
Well, just over 5 minutes of normal time remaining, but there's going to be time added on for stoppages. Remember the clash of heads between McIntosh and Topi that stopped play for about 4 minutes or so. So I would suspect that we could have upwards of 5 minutes being added on for stoppages here. McIntosh puts the chase on, but Simpson is big and powerful. But McIntosh gets to the ball as well. Cavalier, calm. Shaw. Topi. Long pass from Topi, aiming there for Paris. Now Thomas for Waterhouse. Good pass inside here to Tremaine Stewart. Beckford.
Offside.
Offside call against the 26-year-old. Referee Lozier, in spite of the wretched conditions he's facing here, AC could live in the comfort that if he was in Canada now, he'd probably be in some -degree temperatures.
Not probably, Lance.
McIntosh. Simpson. Satchwell. Stewart. footing because of the conditions. Wow, what happened there? Nicholas Hamilton. Hamilton goes for the strike.
Shouldn't have gone for the strike, Lance. Paris had peeled off to his right, and he only now apologizes. Paris had peeled off to his right, and then there was Messi Marsh waiting for the pass from Paris, and Hamilton still apologizing. Look at him. Look at Paris.
Yeah, that was
and Hamilton may say you were in an offside position, but he's still apologizing because he recognizes that he should have brought his teammate into play there. Nicholas Hamilton, his eyes lit up.
Satchwell under pressure. Miller. Wow, they've given the ball away, Thomas. Horton comes and saves the day for Waterhouse. Keno Simpson. DeAndre Brown. Great pass forward here for Beckford. Beckford goes for the strike one time. Plummer stops him.
Excellent defending. Excellent defending. Lance, if that ball had found its way across the 18-yard box, McIntosh would have been in business, because even though Topi was shadowing him, he had the run on Topi. And Plummer ensured that there was no difficulty. Look at this pass from DeAndre Brown. And Beckford's pass blocked by Plummer. Yeah. Critical intervention there.
Yeah, Plummer has been a solid central defender for Cavalier all season. A transfer from CFC.
Former teammate of Fancy Hugh Stewart then, eh?
Yeah.
But there's a man down in the...
Topi again.
Yes. Seems to be a foot injury this time. He looks dazed. They're asking him if he can see out the rest of the game, but he has to leave the pitch.
Well, it's been a real horrible night in many ways here for the players and referee because of the conditions. Cavalier trying to get the ball out of their danger zone. Marsh sends the ball here to Paris. Doesn't get there before Holden does.
I tell you what, I don't know why Chevron Messi Marsh waited so long to play Paris in. And that killed off the counter-attack at the critical point. Held on just too long. The Cavaliers captain.
Great work there from the substitute Gadale Irvin for Cavalier. Thomas for Waterhouse, long ball. The word coming through is that 5 minutes will be added on for stoppages. There it is now. So 5 minutes remaining now. Marsh. Satchwell. His pass again blocked by Walcott.
I'm done.
Simpson. Satchwell. Plummer tackles successfully, knocks Tremaine Stewart over, and referee awards a free kick here to Waterhouse.
Clever by Tremaine Stewart. Knew the tackle was coming and knew all he had to do, get himself in the path of the defender and that ball. The foul would have to be his. He knew the defender was coming, and that's a free kick.
So White, who travels to Florida tomorrow for the MLS Combine. In goal for Cavalier. Can Waterhouse steal this one late? Miller appears to want the strike. Finlayson, the veteran, also positions behind the ball. A 4-man wall set up by Cavalier. Goalkeeper's mobility in conditions like these severely restricted. What will Miller do with this strike from 35 yards to the far post? Oh, the header! Oh! Behind the near post. Laws was it with the header? Connecting well, but wide of the target.
Lance, that was directly from the playbook. Sean Laws was instructed by Nikolai Finlayson to make his way forward. Mark Miller found his forehead, and I can't believe that Sean Laws hasn't hit the target.
Wow. We've seen him come up a lot for the set plays, Sean Laws, for Waterhouse.
And I've seen him miss too many of these headers, Lance. Gets himself in the good position. He's big, he's powerful. He has a good jump on him. He doesn't finish enough of those chances, and he'll rule that one suspects. That was put on a plate for him. Didn't have to do much.
Again,
just
great
needed to
delivery.
guide it on target. Mark Miller's delivery was beautiful, Lance.
Yeah, great delivery from Mark Miller. Simpson, Walcott. Waterhouse getting ready to make another change. And Denardo Thomas is about to get some playing time, and he'll be in for Kimar Beckford. Well, Coach Ducky now going for different cards. Beckford, his prolific scorer, his most prolific scorer this season. Well, he has lost faith in him, at least for tonight. And Denardo Thomas gets some playing time. Denardo Thomas.
A lot of young pups on the field for both teams, Lance.
Paris on the advance. Keeps the ball, but under pressure, fouled. Waterhouse players alert, trying to ensure that Paris doesn't sneaky take a cheeky, quick free kick and get them off guard.
Notice, Lance, that Topi isn't going forward for Cavalier. He's kept his position on the halfway line.
Yeah, well, of the two teams, you would think that Cavalier would be more satisfied with a draw here than Waterhouse would be. At the moment, they have just 4 players on the front end. And referee Losier now ready for the kick to be taken. Long one to the far post. Whistle. Some shoving there near the far post, I think from Keno Simpson. And the free kick awarded quickly.
That's it.
Wow, the referee calls this one now. So it's the end of the game. No goals here between Cavalier and Waterhouse tonight. A bruising battle in wet, muddy conditions. And Waterhouse here and Cavalier battling to a 0-0 scoreline. We make Jamoy Topi our man of the match for the night. The tall Camperdown student acquitting himself well to the conditions here and playing a solid game at central defense for Cavalier. There he is. In spite of the head blow which he suffered in a collision with Gary McIntosh, the Waterhouse striker, when he had gone up for a header. A rainy night, a slippery night, no goals, a point each for Waterhouse and Cavalier.
One bag of gold medal pan me no. Red stripe alone champion boy go. Pan a pour them a singing anthem. Red stripe, watch out, watch out, watch out. Man, shall I be the forward boy? Red stripe Premier League champion boy score. Every goal winner run from boy. Red stripe Premier League champion boy.
The Red Stripe Premier League for champions only.
So, at the Jerusalem Stadium here on a rainy night, the rain fell for the entire 90 minutes of this match. The post was struck twice by Waterhouse. Both goalkeepers were brought into saves. Waterhouse early with the attack. Leslie here with a strike. Fine save from Young White in goal from a deflection from Simpson. Another Waterhouse effort here. Leslie with a pass to Kimar Beckford. Beckford crashes the ball onto the inner post. And Cavalier escaping there. Look at the power on that strike. White beaten. Topi heads toward goal. Spence bundles the ball in, but the offside flag had gone up. So the Cavalier goal here called back. One of their best opportunities of the night. Cavalier, Topi with a header on goal. Maybe if the players didn't interfere with the play, he would have gotten a goal there and Cavalier would have won it. Marsh with a strike from distance. Horton deflecting the ball behind for a corner. It's been that kind of night. Miller with a cross. The ball headed toward goal by Beckford, the deflection. Laws with a second header, but White equal to the task. There is the collision between McIntosh heading on goal and Topi. Both of them collide. They're both with head injuries. Hamilton with a fine effort here. Hits the post. So Cavalier also hitting the post on the night. So the whole post hit 3 times on the night. Laws here from just over 6 yards with a header to the near post. Just missing the target. And both teams going close to scoring on several occasions tonight, but not able to find the net. 7 attempts on goal by Waterhouse, 6 of them on target. 10 attempts on goal by Cavalier, 6 of them on target. 28 fouls in the match, shared evenly. 2 yellow cards to Cavalier, 1 to Waterhouse. 2 offside calls against Cavalier, 3 offsides against Waterhouse. 10 corners in the match, 6 of them to Waterhouse. And the possession shared evenly in the match. Waterhouse and Cavalier, even Stevens, 0-0, 1 point each. And George Davis is with man of the match, Jamoy Topi.
And so I'm here with Jamoy Topi, our man of the match. Fret not, the beer isn't here, but Michelle Cunningham, the assistant brand manager of Red Stripe, is here. The beer is nearby. Michelle?
Jamoy, congratulations on being the man of the match. All the best for the next.
All right, this is your trophy, your Sportsmax Man of the Match award. Hope you get more of those. Quickly, how was the game from your perspective there in the back?
Well, it was a really tough game, but I stood out as one of the youngest players in the league. I'd managed to get this award.
The head injury, Gary McIntosh's header, he caught you on the follow-through. How are you feeling? Are you well enough to walk home?
Yes, I'm pretty much well. I'm okay. I can make it home.
All right, congratulations, Jamoy. All the best.
Thanks.
Good, good, good. All right, Jamoy Topi there, the man of the match. Red Stripe will give him his prize in short order. All right, so I was looking in the wrong camera. Here I am right now. I'm with Rudolph Speed. Rudolph, a hard-fought draw. The conditions filthy. You thought your boys did well?
Oh, extremely well. They passed the ball around, even although the pitch was that bad. You could have seen the difference when they tried to put combination of passes around. I'm proud of them.
Indeed, and after you came here already and you took 3 points, you came back. You said before the game that different conditions, different Waterhouse team. Based on how they approached it, did they approach it as you expected, Waterhouse?
Oh, definitely. They use younger players in this particular game, younger, quicker players. I still think I won the match. That goal, I thought it should have stood. So I can only say that the referee started otherwise, but I can only say based on what we did this evening, we got a lot of looks at their goals. Playing at Waterhouse and winning is always tough, so I'm satisfied.
Well, we had the benefit of TV monitors. We thought it was a legitimate goal, but when we saw the replay, we tend to agree with the referee. Nevertheless, the boys stood up well. The youngsters coming through, Jamoy Topi got that head injury, but he and, well, all of his defensive colleagues, they were outstanding for you today.
Oh, definitely. I mean, we did a lot of work in that era because we know that coming to the end of the second round. The third round is actually going to get tougher and tougher. So we decided that, look here, one of the best way to still ensure that we qualify for the top 6 is to start to play very tight defensively. The earlier part of the season, we used to play very well, but give away that odd goal. Now we're kind of just making sure that goals don't score on us. And for the last 5 games, I think we've only considered 1 goal.
Finally, Rudolph, from where we sat, we thought that you read the conditions very well in terms of the instructions that the players were asked to play to. The pitch, sticky as it was, wet and soggy, and yet your boys showed the composure. So in terms of following the game plan, I'm sure you can't find much fault with them.
No, I just said to them, you guys wanted to play in England. Well, this is England. Just play the football like how you said them play it on the TV, and they just follow instruction. Very good bunch of guys. I mean, as I told you, we left out 10 players out of our squad at the start of the year. These are the set that follow instruction, and this is the ones that we're going forward with.
All the best, Rudolph.
Thank you very much.
Rudolph Speed there, the coach of Cavalier, and his team pulled out a draw here this evening. I'm speaking now with the Waterhouse, I almost want to say brain box, Donovan. Look, he's the coach, and he'll take that. Donovan, maybe you leave here disappointed that you only took a point.
Well, I'm not so much disappointed. I thought we started the game impressively, very aggressive. We kept on catching them in transition. I thought they lost a lot of possession in the middle third. we catch them on the break. It was just we're just very unfortunate to have not gone 1-0 ahead. We hit the bar 2 times. They also hit the post 1 time. I thought with a little bit more luck, Sean Laws could have gotten that header on target. But I thought it was a very evenly contested game. I'm very pleased with what Cavaliers are doing. I have a lot of respect for them. It was more like a game of cat and mouse. You remember in the first round, Waterhouse was blown away by this team, yes. Took apart and torn apart. Today was much different. I was 2 tactical minds, and I thought both teams did brilliantly. And in the end, I'm kind of pleased with a point taken from the game.
Finally, Donovan, talk to me about the project, the Waterhouse project. Since you've come here, you've had a couple of setbacks, but on the whole, it's been upward mobility. Is this team on track for the plans that you have for them?
Yes, definitely, because if you look at history, the second round suggests that we have only lost once, and we have lost controversially against Portmore United. So we have not lost in about 9 games. Or 10 games, I stand corrected. So we have 1 game to go before the round is completed. We want to end with 3 points. The project is going the way that we want it to be. It's short term, medium term, and long term. We have added some players in the transfer window to add more stability to our team. And I think we have laid a solid foundation. And with hard work, luck will come. And we're working hard, so eventually we'll definitely get lucky.
Well, Donovan, I know that personally, sometimes you believe that you don't get the respect that your work deserves over time, but I can tell you from a commentary perspective, we like watching your teams and we like engaging you with you in this Red Stripe Premier League. All the best.
Thank you. I'm very humbled by that.
Good. Donovan Ducky, the coach of Waterhouse. Lance Whitaker is now joining me on set. And Lance, it's interesting that the coaches picked up the same points that we were picking up in the commentary. Cavalier said Rudolph Speedy was pleased with how his team was calm in possession and sought to play the ball around. And Donovan Ducky noted that his team gave away possession cheaply from time to time.
Yeah, I think that's how we saw it as well. And it was a very entertaining game. Very, very entertaining game. The slippery conditions made things difficult for the players to be as efficient as they would have probably wanted to be. But for Waterhouse, they have now moved up a place in the standings to number 6. So they are now in playoff range. So as Ducky said just now, he can't be too displeased about what happened tonight.
Masters of their own destiny, Waterhouse are. So tell the fans, Lance, next week Monday, Red Stripe Football Monday, Harbourview and Portmore. Tell us about that.
Yeah, that's coming up next week Monday night. The 9:35 kickoff Eastern Caribbean time. You can't afford to miss it. Portmore, the runaway leaders at the moment. Harbourview, former champions, trying to lift themselves from a pretty low position in the standings at the moment. You can't afford to miss it. It's been a rainy night at Drewsland. Red Stripe Football Mondays. Waterhouse against Cavalier in a 0-0 scoreline.